So over the course of Monday, I noticed a number of things that were quite stupid, so much so that I thought I'd make a video on individual topics, and then realised that they would only be about 2 to 3 minutes each. If I'm to make the most of the shackles YouTube gives me, which is nothing, then I'd want to make sure the video had a bit more substance to it. So today we're going to be compiling a bunch of stupid that I saw on Twitter and in the news and on Discord into one video, because each of these things is rather amusing and also stupid at the same time, hence the title being an exhibition of stupidity. Although if anyone's been on this channel long enough, you would know that I've done videos called The Exhibition of Stupidity in the past. I think this would be the 9th, because I do recall doing one and saying it was the 8th, but not officially, in my Joker avatar bit. Anyway, to start off, I thought we'd take a look at PayPal, because PayPal is one of those sites that a lot of creators, myself included, use, certainly through sites like Streamlabs, to support the channel, because with the adpocalypse that happened last year, most creators are still nowhere near earning what they once were before, but still getting similar views. And certainly for those that have changed format from making videos to streaming, it is a fantastic way of helping those creators. Now, to take your memory back, Patreon last year rather stupidly introduced a donation thing where you would donate $1, but then have to pay an additional amount on top of that. It was of course reversed because of the backlash, but during that time, Maker Support, another site, cropped up. They used to use Stripe, so people could receive their payments through that, and Stripe, because of back payments or back charges, or because they didn't consider the site unreliable, or because they didn't like to be associated with those creators using Maker Support, pulled out, meaning creators like myself have about $10 to $20 sat on that website, and I can't access it, which is fine. I gave up on it. Not long after this, BitChute cropped up, and I like BitChute, shilling my channel now on BitChute. Please subscribe. But they also hit a similar bug with Stripe, which is a concern, although I do believe they have a PayPal, or is it a GoFundMe? I know they have a campaign thing, and I'm going to link it below, because BitChute's one of those sites I really want to help out as much as I can, because I want my bronze plague. And yes, I said plague, not plaque. Now, a lot of you are going to be wondering, Omegon, you've gone on one hell of a tangent to get to PayPal. Well, all will now be revealed. You see, PayPal has recently updated their hate speech policy, which means that this could quite possibly happen to a number of creators, where they will then lose the ability to receive donations based on the content they upload to YouTube. You can thank tirade for sending me this picture, because I didn't know it existed until then. It is quite sad that a site like PayPal has had to go down this path. I don't know if it is because of chargebacks, or because they don't want to be associated with, more than likely, and this will be their excuse, far-right propaganda. From what I've been told by iratebear, this won't hurt Streamlabs users too much, as there are potential alternatives via Streamlabs. I hope that all works out, especially for my friends on the Ghost Poo, because they do a lot of good work, they're very entertaining, and they deserve it. So now that I've explained this retarded piece of nonsense, that makes sense, let's move on to what was trending on Twitter yesterday, because this was special. It was the term white extinction anxiety. Now, this all started because a man called Charles M. Blow wrote an opinion column on this very subject, where he basically said, those who oppose socialism and dare support the enforcement of immigration laws suffer from what he calls white extinction anxiety. Now, the majority of what I saw on Twitter that surrounded this, and I wished I'd screenshotted it when I first saw it, was people basically saying to all those white people that have basically oppressed and marginalized people over many, many centuries, this is karma. If you believe in that nonsense, that is. Do good things and good things happen. What a load of bollocks. I will link, for those who are interested, the article in the description. Oh, and before we continue on to the next subject, there was an article at the top of Twitter that I thought was the original article that started white extinction whatever. And it was this article about how Russian women are getting pregnant and then coming to America to give birth to their kids, to somehow bolster the native population of white people, because of all them horrible, horrible ethnics that are like totes destroying your country. Thankfully, I did 5 minutes of digging and found out no, that wasn't what started it. But I do like the idea of Russian people going out of their way to help out their very, very, very friendly allies by knocking up their women and sending them abroad. It's fantastic. Next. Now, I know this particular subject has been covered by a multitude of people, but I thought it was amusing enough to quickly talk about. It's that moronic man that managed to manipulate his girlfriend into shooting her because he wants to find out if a .50 caliber bullet from a Desert Eagle could pierce his encyclopedia, which was pressed up against his chest. Now, the Muppet died because of this, and if he was so curious to know just how far a .50 caliber bullet would travel, and how far it would travel through certain medium, perhaps he should have looked up channels like Military Arms Channel, where they do many ballistics tests, most of which serves an educational purpose for the viewers. And I will play a short clip from the Military Arms Channel now so you can understand this.
Perfect shot. Let's take a look at the gel. All right, guys, so we just fired the 135 grain Hornady round into the gel. It went through the drywall. The drywall is 1/2 of an inch thick. Came through, went into about 20 inches of the gelatin. Now I got to tell you guys something else. It's appearing that it's over-penetrating, not over-penetrating, but penetrating more than it normally would. And that's because the gelatin, when it arrived, was too warm.
I actually really like this channel as a Brit. I find it very informative. Now, since all of this transpired, the girlfriend has been sentenced to 180 days for second-degree murder. That sucks. It really does that she was coerced to do that. It's a shame she actually abided and did it. If I was a tad more callous, I'd include a rather crude joke about how the world is not exactly going to suffer without an idiot with a gun. I'm not referring to the girl, although she is a bit of an idiot. I'm referring to him. Next, there was a man who was on a plane, and he decided to hurl a massive amount of anti-Semitic abuse while on the plane, reducing airline passengers to tears, who somehow managed to walk free from the courts after blaming his racist tirade on smoking cannabis during Ramadan. The fallout from this was that he just had to complete a 12-month community order and pay £505 in costs, but I do have to wonder, how much of a shit Muslim are you that you're smoking weed during Ramadan? From what I've heard, it is a haram substance. Now, I know some will use the excuse that as it was not around during the time of the Prophet, you have a little wiggle room, because it's not explicitly forbidden in the Quran. But various scholars through the Hadith have agreed that all types of hashish, including marijuana, yes, I pronounced it on purpose that way, is haram. So I just want you to know, Mr. Muslim man that hurled all the anti-Semitic abuse while unironically on a flight from Tel Aviv to Manchester, you committed a haram act. You might want to submit yourself to a Sharia court for punishment. I think I'll do one more thing. So there's one more thing I'd like to cover, and it's an ethical discussion I'd like to have. See, there's this lady. She's more commonly considered a wag. She was a model a long time ago. Not so long ago. A couple of years ago, maybe? Anyway, she has 4 kids, all boys, and has decided that she wants to have a 5th child because she wants a girl. To do this, she will have illegal gender selection to guarantee a daughter. The model, while talking to her publication, said that she's going to persevere with the plan to undergo gender selection in the hopes to give birth to a daughter. When she was asked about her pregnancy plans, she said, if it happens, but we want to do gender selection. I've been honest about the fact that I really want a little girl. Now, gender selection, for those that don't know, is illegal in this country. It's still legal in the US and Cyprus, and the procedure is basically called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. It costs about £5,000 for the private IVF, as well as £8,000 for the PGD cycle. 2 of the major reasons why pre-implantation genetic diagnosis is considered illegal is because of some countries being heavily religious, obviously. The second is an ethical argument. One of the largest debates about it is whether sex selection for family balancing reasons, rather than medical reasons, is ethical. Of course, if you've got 4 sons and you desperately want 1 daughter, I don't think that's the debate people are having, so I don't find it as much as an ethical argument. Now, there is a further paragraph related to an article I'm going to link below about PGD, where it says, however, when the female partner of a couple having IVF is a carrier of a genetic disease that is carried on the X chromosome, the easiest and safest way to select embryos that will be free of the disease is to select ones that are female and not male. This does not, however, prevents the X-linked gene being passed on, and the child, although it will not have the genetic disease, could still be a carrier. So basically PGD tests for a bunch of very annoying genetic conditions like cystic fibrosis, Huntington's, Fragile X syndrome, haemophilia. Now I know this one doesn't really fall into the bracket of stupid. It's more interesting, and certainly so when it is banned in this country. Someone talking openly about doing something that is illegal but going abroad to do it is interesting. And I'm keen to understand what people think about the idea of selecting the gender of their child. Selecting the sex of their child. Because past the ethical discussion, this sounds like a way of pre-planning families, and that's intriguing. That would certainly appease a number of people who have tried in the past to cut their sons' dicks off because they were boys and not girls, because removing dicks totally changes them into a girl overnight. Didn't you know? That's like evolution, everyone. Now, as is customary with these particular types of videos that are typically exhibitions of stupidity, I leave it to you to pick what is the stupidest thing you have heard. It used to be that I'd display it somewhere, but I'm not going to do that anymore. That was back when I had an avatar that was made from Google crop images. Not this one. Doesn't matter. I hope everyone has a lovely Tuesday, and thank you all for listening. Okay, not done. Turns out there was one more thing I could have included during the video that amused me for a few seconds. Something which would certainly be stupid by comparison to the last thing we touched on before I ended the video the first time. I've got into a bit of a habit of doing this. I really need to stop and structure these better. Look at the image on the screen. The team is Arsenal Football Club. Now if the guy stood further to his left, so on the right, it would just say arse. But because he's in the middle it says anal. And there was a fantastic little bit in the magazine itself that had an eye for detail on it. Yes, fantastic. Anyway, I thought I'd include this before I ended.
Oh, goddowns.
Imagine my shock